All right. Hey, I hope everybody's having a great day. I just wanted to talk to you guys about a way that I practice memorizing and knowing where my scales are. And I'm just going to do a simple minor pentatonic scale. And we're going to be in the key of A. And as you know, a lot of memorization is also muscle memorization. By your left hand and with your right hand. So I do this thing where I'll practice each position of the minor pentatonic scale. So a minor pentatonic scale has five notes. In the key of A, it's going to be A, C, D, E, G, then A again. That's one octave. Then it just repeats itself on up to here to this A up here on the high E string. But so one way that I'll practice, and I don't call these, you know, first position, third position. I call them by, that's the root position when I start from there. Then this is the minor third position. The perfect fourth position, or the fourth. The fifth position. And then the seventh, flatted seventh. Okay, so I'll practice those five positions, and how I do it a lot of times is I'll put a backing track on, and thank God for backing tracks. When I was learning how to play, we didn't have backing tracks. We took 45 records or 33s and scratched the crap out of them trying to learn stuff. I'm from the my era was the late 60s and into the 70s, and my guitar heroes were Hendrix and Santana and Joe Walsh and a lot of great guitars, Richie Blackmore. There was a lot of great guitar players from that era, and those were my heroes. But when we learned stuff, we didn't have the luxury of YouTube or any kind of social media or any kind of digital platforms at all. So we just had to do it old school and buy a record and put it on your record player and scratch it, play 45s at 33 and play the 33s at 16 and trying to learn parts, trying to learn how to play, basically. But thank God the internet is a beautiful thing. There's a lot of good information, and it's a real luxury for a guitar player to be able to go up on YouTube and find information. I think it's very cool. So anyway, one way that I practice now with my any kind of scale, uh, my minor pentatonic scales, I probably don't practice a whole lot anymore. I've been playing this scale. It's the most used scale in music. That's how I see it. Um, it's used by jazz players, rock players, blues players, country players. The minor pentatonic and the major pentatonic are probably the two most used scales in music, and that's my opinion. Whether it is or not, who knows? But anyway, so I'll put on a track, and this is at about 90 beats BPM, and I'll practice playing these five positions slow, and I'll play. This is a 5-minute track that I got on. I'll practice and play the whole that in that one position for 5 minutes. Then I'll reload it, go back to the beginning, and go to the starting on the minor third and play in that position for 5 minutes. Then I'll go to the perfect fourth and play in that position for 5 minutes. I think you get where I'm going with this. So I may do that. I may do that for an hour, hour and a half. And again, it's all about muscle memorization, and I'll work on phrasing while I'm doing it, and just little things, bending, no bending. I work on that kind of stuff while I'm doing it. But if you'll do it, and if you're just new to playing these scales, and I would just, you know, just go up and down the scale and then try to put together little phrases, like work on some patterns maybe. Triplets. Just work on little phrases like that, and then try to play them in all 5 of those positions. So I'm gonna play a track, and this is at, like I said, 90 BPMs, and then I'll speed up, and I got another track that's at 140, and I'll do the same thing. And again, this is just a vamp track. It's over an A minor chord. So, and I'll use it for other things as well. I'll practice, you know, other different scales other than my pentatonic, my minor pentatonic. I might practice my other minor scales. Dorian, harmonic minor. So I'll use this same track for practicing other kinds of scales, and there's a position for each note of a scale. So if a scale has 7 notes, it's going to have 7 positions. So anyway, let me do the minor pentatonic and get on with it. So this is going to be just I'm going to start here in the root position of the A minor pentatonic and just play. And I'm just going to play for maybe 30 seconds to a minute. And then I'm going to go and play to the next position. You'll hear it and see it. So anyway, here we go. Well, maybe. We'll go to the next position. Again, we're not trying to build, a solo. We're just trying to get the muscle memorization of where these notes are in each position. So I'm going to go to the 4th. To the 5th position. Seventh position. So that was at 90 beats per minute. And again, we're just working on basic muscle memorization plus visual memorization. When I look at my guitar, and Jeff Beck used to do this. I read an article where Jeff Beck used to just stare at his guitar for 2 or 3 hours and just look at his guitar and visualize playing things on it. And I thought how amazing that was that he could do that. And to me, Jeff Beck was probably one of the most greatest electric guitar players that ever lived. His creativity was off the charts, and I've never heard anybody play like him. I've heard people try to, but they couldn't quite, get there. That's my opinion. Um, so I played it. That was at 90 beats per minute. So I'm going to do the same thing, and this is going to have more of a Latin groove, but it's at 140 BPMs. And so I'll play the same 5 positions at a little faster speed. And again, we're just working on muscle memorization, visual memorization, and just knowing where these notes are of this scale. You know, if you can learn these notes and even know the names of them, A, C, D, E, G, A, C, D, E, G, A, even call them out or think about them when you're playing them. You know, that'll help you memorize your neck. Know where those notes are on your neck. So I'm gonna play this now with 100 at 140 beats per minute. Hang on. Next position. Next position. Next position. That was the fifth, seventh position. Okay, so that was at 140. I went through all 5 positions. But when I do this, when I practice this, I stay true to the whole 5 minutes in each position. I was moving around, wasn't staying on each position very long there when I did that. But when I'm, doing my practice, I will stay in that one position for 5 minutes and play, and then I'll go to the next position and play in that next position for 5 minutes. Again, this is just a way to get the muscle memorization, the visual memorization, and just you know, understanding the layout of a scale on your fretboard. Another thing that I do, I'm going to go back to the slower tempo here. Another thing I do with a scale, and again, we're working with the A minor pentatonic scale, but you do it with all your scales. At least I try to. So I will work in strings, as a string in pairs. So I will try to play solos with just 2 strings or just phrases. My bad. So I'm going to play over this A minor vamp, and I'm going to be using the A minor pentatonic scale, but I'm only going to be playing it on my B and G string. So let me do that, and then again, I'll do it for 5 minutes, and then I'll play the same thing with just using the E and B string. So I can, again, it's all about memorizing where those notes are of this scale. So let me do that. I'm going to play the B and G string. How bad? So then I might go to the D and G string. I need to practice more on that. But anyway, so I think you get the point of where I'm going with that. And again, it just strengthens your knowledge of that A minor pentatonic scale all over the fretboard. So if you'll use that, find yourself a good backing track, one at a moderate tempo, something slow enough to where you can really focus and play those things slow if you're a beginner, and then pick a little bit faster tempo, and once you feel more comfortable. But if you'll practice, I use it. Like I said, I use this, and it help me seem to help me memorize the fretboard. Although there are a couple of times it didn't sound like it, but so anyway, that's a good way for I feel that you can practice playing your minor pentatonic, actually any kind of scale, just and those one chord vamps. I love practicing with one chord vamps to practice my scales, you know. So, and then working, playing, and phrasing. You can do that on other stuff. You know, I like to play over changes, of course. I mean, playing one chord vamps gets pretty boring, but that's why I use it to work on my scale playing, playing scales. But when I play, I try not to think about scales when I play. Um, I actually just try to think about phrasing and melodic. Try to play melodic and more use the guitar as a voice, as opposed to just playing real fast scales and stuff. Um, but anyway, hope this helps you out with. Hope this is another way you can add to your practice schedule, a thing you can work on. I know it's helped me a lot, and I've taught it to some of my students, and they seem to like it. It helps them memorize their scales. All right. See you next time.